Hello my friends, this is Angie back with Accountable Living. Today I want to talk about year end and what that means in the accounting industry. First off, I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of my viewers and to anyone who's watching. I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And if you're one of the people who are still trying to pass the CPA exam and you're feeling defeated or depressed or like you can't do it, maybe you thought you would get it done by the end of the year and you just haven't been able to, please do not give up, guys. Keep fighting, keep studying, keep taking those tests. Even if you fail the test, get right back up and try again. Do not wait. That's the worst thing you can do, is say, I'm going to wait, for another year or two and then start all over. Don't do it. Just keep going. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. You will regret it if you stop and give up. Okay, I thought about giving up so many times. If you've seen my other videos, you guys know that I failed every one of the 4 CPA exams with a 74 each time I took it. So on the first time, I made a 74 for each one, and so I had to retake them. And I thought I could have it all done in a year, and I had all these plans for, after I was done, what I was going to do, and that didn't happen. It took me over 2 years to get them completed with passing grades, and I am an older individual. I'm over 40, and I waited to take the CPA exam. I already had the experience. I had my master's degree. I had been working in the accounting field for a very long time, and I decided to do it as a mom, a full-time employee, and I dedicated my life to it for 2 years, and I'm so happy I did it. Yes, there was struggle, there's pain, it's very expensive. You can see all my other videos and you'll see the emotion behind passing and how much, I had to spend and everything. So if you're on the track to becoming a CPA, do not give up, guys. I have faith in you. Believe in yourself. You can do it. So this video, though, I want to talk about what is year end in the accounting industry. And of course, it can be different for all companies, but if you are in the tax accounting industry, then your year end and your struggles are going to be timed differently than my year end, because I'm a financial accountant. So my year end is December 30th, 31st. But that basically means to me I have a good month, 45 days after December 31st to get the books closed. So that's kind of what I want to talk about today, just so you can understand if you're trying to decide if you want to be a tax accountant, if you want to be a financial accountant, if you want to be an auditor, then you need to know the differences. For tax accountants, so the tax deadline for individuals, corporations, is April 15th. Of course, you're going to be busy from, say, February till April 15th. You are going to be so busy. That's why they call it the busy season. And that's why a lot of tax accountants live at their office during those few months. I worked at a public accounting firm. I helped with taxes, but I wasn't in the tax department. But during those months, we knew to leave them alone. They're all, they're stressed out. They're trying to get the work done. And guys, we even had a shower. There is a shower that they had in our office, because some nights, to reach that deadline, people had to spend the night. Now, that was, years and years ago, but I do know there was 1 or 2 people that would have to stay overnight to meet that deadline, and it does happen. So just be aware that you're going to be overworked. If you're a tax accountant, you're going to be overworked February through April, And then a lot of companies can file an extension. So even individuals can file an extension. The extension is for the return only. They still have to make their estimated tax payment. They still have to make their payments. So they can't extend their payment and their tax return to October 15th, but they can extend their filing of their tax return. So you're also going to be busy come September and October because you're going to be doing all these extensions. Another thing is for taxes, LLCs who file as a partnership, their tax return is due March 15th. So you're going to have a busy week the week of March 15th. And the reason being is that's a pass-through entity. They need to file their form 1065, but they also need to provide a K-1 to their partners. And that gives the partners a month till April 15th to get their tax return filed. And they are also, a partnership is also able to file an extension, and that would go to September 15th. So plan, you will be busy those months, and you might have a lighter workload in the summer. A lot of tax accountants take off longer periods in the summer, and they could possibly even work a different job or work in a different department. They may be doing tax planning. If their firm offers tax planning, then they would do that in the downtime. Or they may help with the bookkeeping services or financial accounting services if that's provided. Moving on to a financial accountant like myself, be honest, I'm busy all the time. I don't have really a huge, this month I'm so much busier than the next month. I don't have that. Every month I have a closing, a month-end closing. Every year I have a year-end closing. Now at year-end I will do year-end adjustments if I know there are some that need to be done. I'm going to double check everything for the year. Some companies do all their depreciation at year-end. So you may be doing your depreciation schedules and your journal entries for depreciation at year-end. But like myself, I usually do that every month. So that's all caught up already. So like I said, as a financial accountant, I'm just busy all the time. And at the end of every month, you take the amount of time you need to get the prior month closed. So that could be 10 days. I was with a company where we had to have it closed within 3 or 4 days. So yes, for 2 or 3 days, I was working a lot because of the deadline. Especially if you are with a large corporation who's publicly traded, then you usually only have a few days each month at the end of the month to get the books closed. So be prepared for that if you go work for a publicly traded corporation, okay? Now, for auditors, if you want to go into auditing at an accounting firm, you're probably going to be busy, pretty busy on a regular schedule because you're going to be auditing publicly traded companies and also private companies who have lenders or creditors that require them to complete an audit. And that could be done throughout the year. It doesn't have to be done at year end, but publicly traded companies have to have audited financial statements turned in after their fiscal year ends. So you're going to be busy based on the fiscal year ends of the companies that you're doing audits for. And you can't really plan how long it's going to take you to complete the audit unless you've done it, for a good 2, 3, 4 years in a row. Then your audit manager, the audit lead, will probably have a good idea of how long it's going to take. But if this is your first time doing an audit for a company, you just can't guess at how long it's going to take because you don't know if that company's organized. You don't know if their books have even been closed properly. I had to help companies get their books closed and tons of journal entries done before their audit. We didn't audit them. Obviously, another company would have to do the audit piece of it. But I would help prepare companies by checking their books, making edits, getting information to complete journal entries, things like that, to make sure they were ready for audit. So you never know what the situation the company is going to be in. So for my auditors out there, it's really up in the air on how busy you're going to be during certain months. It just depends on the companies that your firm is auditing. That being said, my next video, I believe I'm going to do tips on passing the audit section of the CPA. So if you have any specific questions, put them in the comments below. Maybe that's the one that's got you. I know so many people who took the CPA exam and auditing was the one that got them. They had to take it multiple times. And you think it's going to be easier. You think it's going to be easier than FAR. And maybe you don't study as much for it because you've heard that it's easier. But I'm going to tell you right now, you need to put the same amount of studying into auditing as you do for FAR. It is not so much question-based like with working problems, but you might have to say, you might not be working a problem, but you're trying to understand the reasoning behind things. And if you've been auditing for several years and you go in and take a test about auditing, it's going to drive you crazy because you've already been doing it for several years. But these questions they're asking you, half of them make no sense. I'm going to be honest with you. Half of them did not make sense, and sometimes I would think the answer wasn't even provided, because based on my experience and the way I've done things in the past, I see things differently than the people who wrote these questions for the CPA exam. And that's why auditing is so tricky when it comes to the CPA exam. So make sure you do your, very good studying for audit, and don't skip out on that one thinking, oh, it's going to be so much easier, because it's not, okay? To me, auditing is fun because it's different than what I do on an everyday basis. And I do hope one day that I can maybe go back and do some auditing for a company and learn more about it. But like I said, I would help companies prepare for their audit. So I thought that was a really fun thing to do, just because I got to work my way from top to bottom of a company's financials and the way that they are putting things in their accounting system. Is their accounting system accurate? All these things you have to consider when you're doing auditing. So I know right now it's December, so my year end, I've already started making sure my vendor list is up to date. I've received a W-9 for my vendors. I know which ones have to have a 1099. Those are due by the end of January. So for financial accountants, we're going to be doing 1099s, for a couple weeks in January, getting those out. I do use an accounting software platform for that, a web-based platform, which makes it super easy. It's not that hard, but as long as you've been preparing during the year, you've collected those W-9s, you've put in the social security numbers and the tax ID numbers for each vendor that you've had, you make sure you mark them in your accounting software if they need a 1099 or not. And I might do a video on that to help you out, but it's super easy. After I do those in January, I'm going to be making sure my financial statements for the year are on point. Any question that could come up, I'm going to go ahead and know the answer to it. I'm going to have backup schedules that actually match the total number that appears on the financial statement ready. I'm going to go over with each department if there's questions about things that occurred during the year. And I'm just going to be ready, end of January, February for any questions that come up from our board of directors. And those are things you should be thinking about if you work as a financial accountant. Now, for tax accountants out there, your last end of the year right now, you have a few weeks before things start ramping up. I would suggest to you that you look at any new tax updates that have occurred and any questions that you might receive from individuals about college. There are some college tax credits out there. Any questions they may have about child care, elder care. Make sure you're up to date on all these laws, tax law updates. Make sure you know the statuses that are available for each taxpayer, be it individual, married, filing separate, head of household, widower. Make sure you know the differences so that you can help out your clients. That's one of the first questions you're going to ask your client. Are you married? Do you have the information for your dependents? Do you have their social security numbers? So make sure you are going to be ready for this come probably February 1st when people are going to want to start doing their tax returns. The 1099s, have to be out by the end of January. You're going to get your W-2. Those have to be out by the end of January. So a lot of people are going to want to do their taxes come February, mid-February. So just be ready for that, guys. And as always, I thank you so much for watching. Like I said, don't give up. I know it's a struggle at the end of the year. I've been feeling down just because I'm not around my family during the holidays, and I wish I were. So I do get a little depressed and down, during the end of the year. One day I hope to have a home, near my family. I thought I was going to be able to do that this year, but I had some health problems, and I had to spend $4,400 on one procedure that took less than 10 minutes. And so that was a hit to my wallet. We had Hurricane Helene mess up some of our roof, so we had to pay out of pocket to get some of that fixed just because hurricane deductibles are so expensive here in Florida. It's sometimes just better to pay out on your own rather than pay a deductible like that. So I did get hit this year with things I wasn't prepared for. So that's kind of set me back on my goal to have, a small home, a small place to go when I do want to go see my family so that I can stay there 3-4 weeks at a time. So I'm just going to try to stay positive, and a new year is coming. We're all going to work hard. I also want you to think about yourself this coming year. Put yourself first and just stay positive, guys. I know you can do it. Thanks for watching. Bye.